friends, you are welcome to this presentation. We are going to be considering the modeling of this tree structure in Protastructure 2022 successfully. So I will want you to give the lesson a thumbs up and subscribe if you are yet to subscribe. Stay tuned and stay attentive as a technical explanation will be actually carried out during the course of this lesson. And so let us get started. Mind you, this is Protastructure 2022 version. And so we want to create a new file. So we straight away we have to navigate to the new file provision, or you click on this file menu, click on new file. So once you get to these provisions, I will just give it an underscore and key into right there. I will scroll down for my template, United Kingdom Euro Codes template. I will get that selected, click on the OK options. Alright, so the United Kingdom record template is created successfully, just like this. So we'll be setting out our grid lines. I will navigate to the modeling tab, and then I'll use orthogonal axis generator, click it once, and then I'll pick a point on the drawing environment to start my grid creations. Okay, so here in the dialog, the direction 1 axis is actually the horizontal grid lines, while the direction 2 axis is actually the vertical grid lines. All right, so for the horizontal grid lines, we are going to be having 2500 and then asterisks into 2 places, and then you have a comma right there. Okay, so what we'll be having again is 4800, just like this. All right, then you asterisk it into 3 places. All right, so after you must have gotten this in the horizontal provisions, we will go straight away to the vertical directions of the axis. We also have 2500 right there, and then we have a comma right there, and then the main auditorium is going to be 10,000 millimeters. All right, and then you have a comma, you have also 3000 as part of the auditorium, and then we asterisk that with 2 places. All right, so the total weight is going to be about 16 meter. All right, so after which we click on the OK options. So we have our grid line set out just like this. After, we are going to be considering the elevations. Okay, so for you to set your elevation, you can come through the stories, structural tree right there. You right click right there, and then you can click on edit stories. Okay, but before we edit story, we have to insert story. So altogether we'll be having 4 stories. Click on the insert story options, and so we are going to be having 4 stories altogether, just like this. Okay, click on the OK option, but by then insert stories height at default is 3 meter. You can see it there. OK options now, and then click on the yes options to continue. After you must have inserted your story successfully, you can also navigate to the edit story. You can also go through the building set out, and then come to the story operations, and then you come to edit story. Mind you, if you want to actually enroll on a training on this program, you can check the link in the description of this video. All right, and then you can be able to reach to me. We will schedule how we can carry out that successfully. So let's make progress. For the structural system, we will have to change it to steel. All right, because steel will actually dominate the whole of the structure. So you change the structural system to steel successfully, just like this. After which we want to set the stories. We want the stories to be in 3 meters, but for the story 1, we will be changing it to 600. So this story 1 is just like from the normal ground level, okay, to the DPC level. All right, it's going to be 600. All right, for the foundation depth 1.1, we are okay with that. For now, click on the OK options. All right, so once you click on the OK options, you will notice that you actually at the story 4 level now. Okay, but before we proceed, we will look at the materials. Okay, so we check the materials of this structure. All right, so this is the materials dialog. All right, for this steel strength, you can see it is strength 275. All right, which is one of the smallest strength. Okay, it's been selected. After the design, the program will actually select the right strength for this steel. So if you want to select other strength, so you can see all the strength that is available in this program successfully. Click on the OK options. For the reinforced concrete members, you can actually see that for the columns, because what we'll be having in this structure is only reinforced concrete columns, the foundations, and as well as the mass concrete slab. Okay, so click on this concrete strength. We like to use 20/25. I click on apply to all and then click on the OK options. So all of that is being changed. Okay, so for the steel grade, we will be considering steel grade, 460. This one, okay. For that particular bars, if you want to check the rebars diameter, you click on this edit provisions. All right, in this edit provisions, you can now be able to select the rebar diameter, the rebar that you want to consider. We are considering columns right there. Okay, so in the columns, these are the available diameter for the columns. All right, you can see the diameter level as this. So we may not necessarily want 12. We will reduce 12 and then leave 16, okay, up to 25. All right, for the columns. All right, we will not have beams. Okay, so for the slabs right there, you can see the slab, you reduce, we have to remove this for the slab. We will having 12 for the slab, and as well we will having a 16 for the slab. Okay, just like that. Okay, for the foundations, and then which is the 14th, you come over here, we have 12, and then we will also have sorry, that is 8. We will have 12, okay, which is this one, 12 and 16. All right, remove every other ones. Okay, this is for the links. All right, this one is for the links. So for the links, we will consider 8 and 10 for the links. All right, so these are the necessary settings, and then the unit method is metrics. Click on the OK options, and then you just have to click on OK as well. So after which you can also set for every other ones, but for the sake of this lesson, we are considering only reinforced concrete columns and as well as slabs. Okay, so we use this for this slab as well. We also come to links. Under links, we will considering this as well. Click on the OK. All right, for the foundations, we also check this out, and then we use that OK options and OK. Okay, so at this point now we want to start the modeling. Okay, so we navigate at first to the story 0 to have this. Okay, at story 1 rather. So we'll go to the modeling tab, click on the columns. All right, so in the column dialog, all right, so in the column dialog, we will be considering this reinforced concrete column. So the column sections will be considering is 600, and then we will get it to be by 450, just like this. Okay, so after which we are going to be having columns, or placing our column, drawing a line. So I can do a line from this point all the way to this point to have my columns just like this by doing a line, or you can also click, hold and drag your hand over the area you wanted to place your columns just like this. Release your hand to have your columns just the way it is. We also have our columns here and then here. All right, so these are the necessary provisions we need our columns in this design. Click on the close options. All right, so let's look at it in 3D. So you navigate to 3D just like this, and then you have your columns set out just like this. Okay, so after which we will navigate to the story 4 right there. So at story 4, we want to be placing the steel stanchions. Okay, for the steel stanchions, we navigate to the stanchions. You can see the steel columns right there. Click it once. All right, so once it comes up just like this, all right, we are going to be inserting the steel stanchions successfully. So we come to these provisions to actually select the sections that we want to use for this design. So you can see BS steel members. We click in the drop down menu and choose Aero Code members. All right, so we can also select other options. Okay, you can also select other options. Okay, but we scroll down to we are going to be considering this HEA, this one, and then we use the section 300 for the sake of this lesson. Okay, we use this section for the sake of this lesson. Click on the select options, and then we want to turn it this way, after which click on the OK options as well. Okay, we want to start to place this. Okay, so just as I said earlier, we need to send this from the present story to the story 1. So over here where you have a lens story, you will have to key in 4 right there. Okay, so once you key in 4 right there, and now click here and do a shade over the intersections of the grid lines. Release your hand to have the columns placed just like this. Okay, So over here you have to do the same things. Okay, just do a shade over the provisions of the intersections of the grid lines. Release your hand to have the column placed. All right, just like this. Okay, doing for this this ones you just have to place it once. Okay, so if you notice these columns actually has it has a support, a fixed support at it on it. So for that reason I want to be deleting these columns, so we insert it again. Okay, so when I click and then click on the delete options and then select yes options to get that deleted, go back to the columns, still columns again. So we have this time around. Let's click on this and make sure that we selected the right sections, which is that, and then select and rotate it this way. Okay, after which click on the OK options. We really want this column to get to the foundations level. So what we need to do here, we are going to key in 3 instead of 4 in the provisions. All right, so that if you check in these provisions, you can see the support, the first support in Protastructure is always a fixed support. All right, so we'll be creating support after some times, and then we actually learn how to do that successfully. Okay, so now we now have our column resting on the reinforced concrete column, our steel column resting on the reinforced concrete column successfully. You can see now there is no other support except the one at the foundations of the reinforced concrete members. All right, so for this side you also placed it just like this. All right, so these other ones just place it. All right, this is it. Okay, for at this point now we want to be creating other we want to be creating a pin support. Okay, so for you to create a pin support, you have to navigate to the modeling tab. Okay, under the modeling tab where you have support, this one, click on that. All right, so once you click on that, you see support type definitions. So you just add and then you give it a name as a pin support. Okay, just like this, pin support. Click on it. Okay, then select this, and this is this being assigned to this pin support. Okay, so if you select this now, it goes to the fixed support. Select this one, it goes to the pin support. Okay, so we have added an additional one support to this system. Okay, so click on the OK options and I will show you how we apply that to this structure successfully. Click on the OK options. All right, so now we want to be inserting the beams, so we go to the plan view of the story 4. So navigate to plan view of the story 4. At this plan view now, we want to be placing beam in this line, in this line, and in this line. Okay, so it is a reinforced concrete beam. Click it is steel structure, steel beams. All right, so in the steel beam dialog like this, you can always check your you can always check your sections. Select the right sections you want to use. So I'm okay with these sections. I click on the OK options. All right, just as I explained earlier, you can just click over here, hold the left mouse button, okay, and then release your hand over it to have your steel members being inserted. This is a question. If you want to split it, I click on the yes options, and then everything will be splitted. All right, just like this, you can see. So you can also click at the first one and drag it over to the last one. Click on the yes options to split the beams so that it will not be a single beam. Okay, so you do the same thing here, just like this. Sorry, that point and this point, yes options. Okay, so we have these beams just like this. Okay, we can also proceed to place these beams at this point, yes options, and then you also place it at this point, yes options. All right, and then you escape, close this. Sorry, and we are supposed to the end conditions and the release of the beam, we are supposed to actually activate it over here. Okay, but we have not done that. All right, so what we are going to do, we can also do that in the in the uh, in the 3D view, or we can do it later. So what we need to do, because we need to add an end release, okay, click on the close options, select everything here, excuse me, navigate to the 3D. So on the 3D you have all of this just like this. Okay, so you can just remove this first. We get back to this later. We'll get back to this later. Select one and then delete this just like this. Okay, click on the delete options there, yes options. Okay, so for this ones now we want to add the end conditions to it. So for us to do that, you just have to use the filter options, this one. Okay, so click on this filter options right there, and then filter, deselect all, filter only beams, and then select all of this, and you notice it is only the beams that is being selected. So you right click right there, after which you just have to click on the beam property. Okay, so in this beam property dialog, what you just need to do, you can just navigate to the you check the inch, this one, select it right there, you can see all is known. All right, and then you come to these provisions, click right in this place, and then you are going to choose this one, right and left. Okay, and okay options, so you have something of this kind. All right, so after having done that, choose all, make sure all is selected in the selections filters, and then close this dialog. All right, so after having done this, we want to be moving these beams from while we move the beams from first floor to the third floor, and as well to the second floor. Okay, so we still do the same thing, filter this, okay, to only beams. So deselect all, select only beams. All right, at this time you can be able to select only the beams, just like this, after which you just have to navigate to the story building set out, come to the stories operations, and then click on the generate stories, this one. All right, so we are taking the stories from 4 to 2, or the shift key, so you can select 3 and 2, just like this. Click on the okay options and yes options. So you have all of this being duplicated to these provisions. All right, okay, so having done this, now the next thing we want to be doing is the trusses. But there are things, we do have an arc here, so we are not supposed to have this stanchions here, okay, because we have an arc here. So I will get this selected, select this, okay, and then I will be able to get that deleted. Okay, options. All right, select this, select this, select this, you have to delete that, and as well these stanchions and these beams will be removed from here. Okay, so select these stanchions, later we will insert them successfully. So over here, since we have the beam selected in the selections filters, we can just position this like this, get the all beams in this provision selected, and then we delete that off. Okay, after which we can deselect that and get all selected. Okay, close this dialog, and then you can be able to select all of this beam, all of those columns, and delete it. We will insert column here later. Okay, so let's look at the steel trusses. We want to be placing the steel trusses successfully. So for the steel trusses, we have to navigate to the steel model, and then you come to truss right there. So we need to pick 2 points, and before then we are supposed to navigate to the top story, which is the story 4. So we will double click on story 4 to move the grid lines to that story. Then click on the trusses again, pick this point as the first point, take it to this point as the second point, and then the trusses dialog will come up. So in this truss dialog, you have to choose the type of truss we want to use. So we want to be considering this type of truss, this one. All right, so for this now, we will come to the geometry of the trusses. Okay, for the truss support placement, we will be considering it to be top. All right, so after which we will navigate to the apex height. This apex height we will have it to be 1500. Okay, so we have to also scroll down to the spans. Okay, the span is 3, we make it 5 in that provisions, and then this other provisions also 5. All right, so we have something of this kind. Okay, then for the right here height, we will change that to 700, just like this. Also the left here height, we also change it to 700, just like this. All right, so having changed all of that, okay, we can also change the trusses members. All right, the top chord, the bottom chord, as well as the diagonal. Okay, so if I want to do that, the come to member right there. So these are the members. You can make changes successfully, but for the sake of this lesson, we will not go into that. We work with the default members successfully. So click on the OK options. to have your trusses inserted just like this. So we continue to place the trusses in these provisions. This point, and as well this point. Alright, so having placed the trusses successfully, the next thing, if you check very well, you will notice that this particular trusses has actually clashing with the stanchions right there. So for us to now adjust the stanchions to be directly under the truss, we will have to do that effectively. But you know, this trusses is not actually carrying the truss. This stanchion is not actually carrying the truss, as you can see. So we may not necessarily use these sections for this truss. We want to change from these sections. So for us to do that, get the truss selected, right click, and then you can click on Edit Property, and then in the Property dialog, go to the truss sections right there, and then we will be considering IPs. This one, we are considering IPs 180. This for that particular stations. Okay, IPs 180 for that stations. Click on this, select options, and then click on the OK options, and then you have to update it just like this. So this is what we have in these provisions. So close this dialog. Having the stanchions selected like this, we have to navigate to the, we will navigate, or the select and select this again. Once you get that selected, if you check up here, you can see extend columns to member. So click on that, and then click on this member. You see it's been extended successfully. It's right under the truss bottom chord now. All right, so the same thing will be applicable to this other column. So what we need to do, we just have to get this deleted. Okay, after which we select this, right click, and then click on Edit Property. So once you click on Edit Property, you can just come all the way to this side, and then just place it. The same property of the column, okay, will be inserted. So make sure you are able to get the point of intersections of the grid lines to be able to place this column successfully like this. Okay, close this successfully. Okay, after we must have done that successfully, we want to be placing a column on this other reinforced concrete foundation columns. Okay, we want to be placing the stanchions, and we will be using these stanchions sections. Okay, so we are to place it from the we have to be at the story 1. Okay, we have to be at the story 1 to place it successfully. So we navigate to story 2. Okay, here we are going to be to place these other columns successfully. All right, so at this story now, you just have to navigate to the steel stanchion or steel columns right there. Choose our sections. Okay, IPE 180, the same sections. Click on the OK options. We are going to rotate it this way. Click on the OK options. So we will be having the columns right here, but by then we are going to do a little settings over here. We are not going to have 3 again, rather we are going to have only 1, because this is connecting only story 2 and story 1. All right, so we have 1 right there. Make that changes first. Okay, then you come over to the provisions. Where we are having minus 700, we take it to be only 300 above the story. So this is it, after which just have to place this just like this, okay, and then the last one. So you will be having something of this kind. So this is what we actually expected. All right, so after which close that, then we will be looking at the Purlins. This time around we'll be looking at the Purlins. So for us to place the Purlins successfully, you have to navigate to the Purlins. See Purlins here, click on it once, pick the first truss, come over here, pick the last truss, give it some seconds to bring up the Purlins dialog, just like this. So you have a Purlins dialog just like this. So in this dialog, what you just need to change is either the spacing of the Purlin. So for the duration method, you can see by truss joint. So you can also change it to by space. And then for the filter from top, okay, you can click here to adjust it. All right, just like this. Okay, so this is fine. For the profile, you can also change the profile of the Purlins. Okay, but we go by this. Okay, these are the necessary setting. If you are not okay with the spacing of the Purlins, you can also change it right here. Okay, this is 1 meter spacing of the Purlins successfully. So click on the OK options to get that inserted successfully, just like this. All right, so for the clouding, you can also add a clouding to this. So click on the clouding and select this member, which is the Purlins member, to generate your clouding like this. I will show you how to apply load to this. Okay, so we have this successfully. All right, then for this beam, we want to be changing these beam sections because the sections of the steel beams are too large, so we want to change it to smaller sections. So what do we do? How do we do that effectively? We have to come to filter again and then deselect all of this, click on the beams only. All right, so you now get to select all of this structure, and then you will notice that even as you are selecting these structures, it is only beams that can be selected. All right, so you have to first of all deselect the clouding right there. Make sure this is deselected before you can be able to select any other members. So you select all of this, so you can see it right there. It's only beams that is selected because it's been filtered over here. All right, so after which come to edit these edit sections right there. So you have these sections just like this. So we will navigate to the IPs. Okay, the IP sections, mind you, is hero code section we are using. Okay, so the IP section is this. You choose that one, and then we will navigate to these sections we're using, and then click on the selections and then OK options. All right, so you see all the sections has been changed successfully. You can see just like this. This is good now. All right, so we can also proceed to checking if they are being these sections has been released. Okay, so we have to select all of that again. Sorry, select all the structure. It is only beam that will be selected because it's been filtered over here. So you can also right click and click on its properties of the beam. So if you check over here, you can see inch, both end has been inched successfully. This is how it's supposed to be. All right, we close this. Okay, so now you have to make sure all of this is selected back like this before you close this dialog successfully. So we want to make progress by fixing the braces. Okay, so we'll be having braces between these two columns. We have it over here, and also the braces that we have to brace the trusses as well. So we will navigate to the modeling tab right there, and then look at brace. Yeah, you can see this one. So just click on it once. After you click on it once, pick the first columns and the second columns in between it. You have to fix the brace. You can see it just like this. Okay, so you can see this brace is taken from the top of the column to the bottom of the columns, which is not like that. So I will come to this provision where I have count. The count now is 1, so I'm having up to 3 stories. All right, and so I want to count it to be 3. So once I key in 3 here, and I click elsewhere, you can see the changes here. All right, it has divided the braces into 3 provisions. Okay, so this is what I actually expected. All right, after which the next thing is the braces property. All right, we have to change the braces property. Okay, so for us to change the braces property, we need to get all the braces selected. For now, the profile of the braces is an equal angle 80 by 80 by 8 millimeter. All right, so we will change it to a circular hollow sections. All right, so we click in these provisions of this profile, and then we get here. Mind you, we are considering the hero codes template. Okay, so we use the hero code steel material. All right, so we come to turbo D, this one, click right there. Okay, so we have to navigate to use this. We will be using 108, okay, by 3.6. all right, or we can also use this one, 101.6 by 5 thickness of the circular hollow sections, these sections. All right, click on the select options, and then you click on the OK options. So if you notice that it is only this one that changes. All right, so this one that changes because it is only the count 1 that we are working on. Okay, so I want to be making the changes to this and this at once, and for you to do that, you have to select count 2 and then hold the control key and select count 3. All right, so I've selected these 2 together, so I want to be changing the profile of the 2, so I will select it right there and go straight away to turbo D, and then I'll navigate to 101.6 by 5 thickness of the hollow steel sections. Click on the select options and then okay. So you will notice that both is now being changed successfully. Another thing we want to be doing right away is, if you check very well, you will notice that this upper end of the braces is actually being embedded in the beam. All right, so we want to shift it so that it will be at the column side, okay, for proper connections. All right, so for us to do that effectively, and we want to be implementing that to other braces that we have right there. So I will get this one control selected, hold the control key, select control and select country as well, so that all of that will be selected just like this. Okay, so after which we will come to where we have the property of the frame one. All right, in the I end Y offset we will be having 300 right there, and then if you click outside right there, you can see the difference we are having there. The same thing will be applicable here because we have already selected the whole of the braces right there. Okay, so now if you zoom closely, you can see an analytical line. This is an analytical line. So as I've shifted this, now I've shifted it away from the analytical line, so we have to, you know, actually apply this end to analysis so that analysis can be carried out on these braces effectively. All right, so for us to do that, if you come over here where my cursor is, you can see a red one in here said I end must be applied to analysis. Okay, so over here you can see I end offset here, so you check these provisions to apply to analysis. See, the analytical line is no longer showing. All right, so that is how to resolve that issue. All right, so we go straight away to the frame property, the property of frame 2. Also in the I end Y offset, we will be having also 300 millimeters. Okay, 300 millimeters, so as to move it just like this. Okay, so after which you check very well, everything is very nice just like this. So this is the braces, and this is what we actually expected. We really want to make changes to the J and Y offsets. Okay, so we are okay by this. Click on the OK options right now to have it placed just like this. So this is our braces successfully. So this braces, now we are going to be also applying it to this other end. So having the braces selected over here, okay, in the steel member panel. All right, if you check this one, click this other one to have the braces, the same property. We don't need to edit it again. We just have to click on the OK options to have that inserted. So the same thing we are going to be applying in these provisions just like this. Okay, so everything is fine. Click on the OK options right here. All right, but I want to explain something to us. You can't actually change the brace type if you come to these provisions. All right, if I should select the count 1 and then hold the control key, select up to count 3 right there. Okay, so I can change the brace type right there to maybe V. So if you change it to V, this is what you will have it. All right, you can also change it to K, and then you'll be having something of this kind. But for the sake of this lesson, we'll be considering this is diagonal type of brace. Okay, so we'll be considering X brace just like this. Okay, I just want to show you that. All right, so after which we have to just click on the OK options to have the braces right there just like this. Okay, all right, so we make progress. All right, and then we have to place it in this other provisions just like this. Click on the OK option to have the braces just like that. All right, so after we must have gotten all of this just like this, what we have to do, we need to brace the trusses as well. We need to brace these trusses as well. So what we need to do is select the first truss, select the second truss just like this, and then you will be having a braces of this kind. Okay, so just like this, both bottom and top. But we don't need the bottom braces, it's only the top braces we are going to be considering. So for us to get rid of this top the bottom braces that connected the bottom cord of the truss, okay, we have to come to where we have bottom 1 right there, and then these provisions count 1, we make it 0. All right, if you make that 0, see, it's been removed successfully. Once again, I would like us to give the lesson a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not subscribed. If you like what we're doing on this channel, subscribe to the channel, and then stay tuned as we make progress into this lesson. And also, if you want to be trained, okay, we are going to be doing a training. All right, we're having ongoing training programs on this software. So the link in the description, you can reach to us, okay, and join the training successfully. All right, so we make progress, and then I want to be having 2 counts of these braces at the top cord, okay, that connects this top cord of the trusses. All right, so I will come to these provisions. I'll double click right there and then click in 2 over here as well. I will also have 2 count here. All right, just like this. So this is what I will be having here as my braces, and this is fine for me. Okay, so I click on the OK options to get that placed successfully. You can see it just like this. All right, so after having that placed successfully, The next thing we have to do is to also brace this other trusses. Pick this first one and then pick this second one. All right, then we have to reset it again. Okay, count one is going to be 0 at the bottom chord 1 like this, and then the count bottom chord top chord 1 is going to be 2 count, top chord 2 as well, it's going to be 2 count, just like this. After which click on the OK options. All right, so if you check very well, you will notice that we are still having our offset here, with the property of frame offset in the Y direction, so we can change that to 0. All right, and then come over to this other side, change it to 0 as well. Okay, so that we wouldn't have any offset, because we don't want to have any offset right there. Okay, so you see I end apply to analysis, also uncheck that. Okay, because we have not having any offsets of the analytical line, no offset of the analytical line in this case. So click on the OK options to have your braces, truss braces inserted just the way they are. All right, come over here, we are going to be editing this one as well. Okay, so you get this selected. Before then, you have to deselect it from here. All right, before you can get this selected, just like this. All right, you can be able to select all at once and then effect the changes. So you can click on each property just like this, and then you uncheck this analysis. Okay, why is this showing us this red warning sign? Is because we have to remove this. If you remove that, you can see the red warning sign has been removed successfully. Click on the OK options. Okay, so we get this other one selected, this one. Let's hold the control key so we can select multiple of that and make that changes successfully, just like this. Okay, after which right click and then we check the property. You will notice that there is no option for property because we select it multiple. All right, so that means we are going to be doing it one by one. So you get that selected, click on each property, and then you will have that there is no offset here in this one. Click on the OK options. That is fine. We are just going to check that out to make sure we are doing the right modeling. There is no offsets in the Y direction in this particular one as well. So let's check this to confirm that finally. Okay, so there is no offset here, so everything is good. All right, so after which I can click here to zoom extent. All right, so at this time we have placed the braces successfully. The next thing we are going to be placing is the curved steel sections, curved steel beams, okay, that connect on top of these stanchions, and then this other one, okay, at level 3 right there. So for us to be placing that, we will be considering these options that we have it as frame. Click on that frame. So once you click on the frame, we have to inch, okay, we have to inch both end of the curved beam, okay, to the primary beams. Okay, so we check here, check these provisions, and these provisions, this is inching. All right, so after which we'll come to sections management, and then we will navigate to IP sections just like this. We'll be using IP sections 180. All right, click on the select options. All right, after which you click on the OK options. We will be using the insertion method to be this one. This is the curve insertion method. This one is the curve insertion method. So once you get that selected, you just have to come over here. The angle of rotations is going to be 90 degrees, and then we will having an apex distance to be 130. This apex distance can be edited later. All right, so if you come to the 3D sections, in these 3 sections you can see the analytical offset. All right, so if you want to offset the analytical line, you can use these provisions. For the sake of this lesson, we are not going to do that. And then if you come over here, you have a support here. If maybe you want the beam to have a support, you can actually select your support here. In the last lesson, we were able to create a support, pin support, and then a default fixed support for the foundations. All right, but for this we wouldn't have any support, so we want to place it right away. So what you just need to do, head your hand over the head of over the end of this stanchion and click once. So once you click once, okay, you have to direct your hand to where you want to fix it. So if you notice that at first you have some errors just like this, if you have an error like this, don't worry, there is nothing wrong with the program. Okay, it's just that the program is being busy, and then it is trying to reconnect to the command that you have just inputted. Okay, so what you do if you have something like this, you just have to click on the continue options, come to the display or the view sections, and then go to plan view. Click on this plan view, and then it will take you here. Then you close this window right away. Okay, after which navigate to the 3D again so that we can start the instructions again. just like this. So we are back here. All right, so what we need to go back to the modeling tab again, click on the frame, but then you have to save the project. That is one of the reasons you have that error, because I've been working all this while without saving the project, so the program is too busy, to communicate with the command that I have inputted. All right, so I'll click on save options to make sure this project is being saved first. So make sure you save the project so that the program will not be too busy to give you that error that we just saw. All right, click on this frame and then come over here. Make sure you have all of these provisions check, tick these provisions, and then you can navigate to the sections property. IPs 180. All right, click on this, select options, and then come over here, give it okay options first, give it an angle of 90 degree. All right, for the apex distance 130, just like this. So after the settings is being done, head your hand over the top of these stanchions, make sure you are on the top of this stanchion, click once and direct your hand towards these provisions, and then click to have your curve beam, just like this. You can see, but if you zoom closely now, you'll notice that this curve beam, this beam has not seated rightly on top of the the vertical stanchion. So for you to make it sit right there, what you need to come to these provisions, you can keep adjusting this. Let's say 1000. If you just keep in 1000 right here now, 1000 millimeter, click on the update, you can see it has sit right there. So this is what I actually expected. All right, so this is what we are having. Okay, so we continue to place that successfully. So we connect that to this point and we placed it right there, and then we also place this here. All right, just like this. Okay, we place this as well, and then we place this as well. We also place this just like this. Okay, after which you click on the close options to close this dialog. All right, please give the lesson a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, subscribe to this channel for freezing. If you want to enroll or join our training program, you can check the link in the description of this video to join us. All right, so we make progress, after which the next thing we are going to be doing, we are going to be providing the gates. Okay, so for us to do that effectively, we are going to be using this gate options. So you click on this. So once you click on this gate options right there, okay, once you click on these gate options, you can now be able to insert your gate. But at first, I would like us to have a beams that will connect this point, this column, and this column. So for us to do that effectively, you just have to you deselect the gate that you have already selected. Okay, so at the level we are, okay, this is level story 2. Okay, so you just select this one. We'll be using this property, the property of this beam. Right click and then click on the property. You can't immediately pick this first point. Okay, and then all the way to this point, you pick that to actually get the beams inserted, just like this. Okay, just like this. So if you want to change the sections of these beams, you can come to these provisions, come to IP, it's still 180, okay, that we are using. So you click on the select options and OK options, after which you continue to place it here, just like this, at this level. All right, so come over here, we'll be having the same thing over here. So you have a beam just like this at that level. So we will be moving the grid lines to the level story 3. So double click right there at story 3. You have this. So select this. We'll be using that property as well. At this point, you can pick this point right there, connect it here, and then this place, just like this. Okay, come over to this other side, and then you do the same thing, this point and here, just like this. All right, so after having done this, we can now start to place our gates. If you notice very well, we have inched the beam at both ends. You can see it here. We have inched it at both ends. Click on the OK and closed options, just like this. Okay, now for the gate, we will be placing it successfully. So we will use the gate options right there, and then you pick this first one and the second one, and you wait for the program to respond. So here is the gate, just like this. Okay, so I will cancel this and I will do that again. I want to be extending it from this point to this point because this provision is an entrance. So I'll pick this and this, sorry, this one and this one. Okay, so for the gates property, you can see it here, the profile. You can make changes, this person, you can also make changes over here. All right, so for me, I'm okay by this. For the sake of this lesson, click on the OK options. All right, so we make progress. We also be placing gate between this column and this one. So just get that selected, click on the OK options to have it just like this. Okay, so for this and this, we are going to be having this place to be our entrance. Okay, this is one of the entrance into this warehouse. So we place a gate from this point to this point. I'll show you how to adjust that, and then come straight away to where you have some offset here. You can see bottom member offset is 200. So this place now you change it to 3200, just like this. So click on the these provisions to have it shifted. You can see it's been shifted to this S10. Click on the OK option, so you can have this place open, okay, for the entrance door. All right, so over here we'll also be having these small provisions as an entrance, so we'll be placing a gate here as well. So pick these columns right there, and then pick this one right there. So you have this with that offset that you have imputed. So we at this time going to remove the offset, change it to 200. Okay, get it like this, just 200 right there. Click on the OK options to have it just like this. So for this provision now, select this, select the gate, okay, and then pick this column and then this one. Go back to the modeling tab, it's been deselected, get it selected just like this, pick this column and this one. Having this, come to these provisions where you have bottom member offset, and then change it to 3200. Click on the OK options to have this. Okay, this is also an entrance, so we will be having another entrance from this back, this provision. So just get this here, click on the OK option, so we have this place as also entrance from the back, okay, or exit, sorry, from the back. Okay, exit from the back. So this particular provisions we are going to be closing it up, but we will be having an opening here in order for the people around this area to be able to access this place. Okay, so we'll be having a kind of a link between this provisions and the main warehouse hall. Okay, so we are going to be placing the gates from this point to this point. All right, from this point to this point. So we just pick the first column, pick the last one to have it like this. At this point the offset is too high, so we have to change it to 200, just like this. All right, so we have something like this. Click on the OK options. Okay, so we have a gate just like this. All right, we're having another one here just like this. Over here we also have, all right, so we have a gate also in these provisions just like this. All right, so we are actually getting it done gradually. Okay, so the next thing we will be looking at, we are going to be having a gate that connects this and this. Click on the OK options to have it like that. Okay, this place will be an entrance, so we have a gate from this point to this point, and then we offset it upwards, okay, to be 3200. Click on the OK options to have it like this. Okay, so we are done with the gate. Okay, so for us to be able to actually get this place roof successfully, we need a kind of Purlins on this. So we'll be using a frame, this one, to add a Purlin on this. So you click on the frame right there. So we are going to be inching both ends. We'll be inching both ends of this frame. Okay, for the angle we'll be using a straight frame, insertion method straight frame. This one is not the curve insertions method anymore. You also have to come to this 3D provisions, and then you make sure you check here every of these places should be 0, just like this. Okay, so come to this place, you have to change the sections right now, where we go straight away to tubo D. Okay, the tubo D we use this one. Okay, click on the selections and then OK options. So we are going to be placing it right away. We'll be having one here just like this. You can see. So we have another one this point, we also have another one this point and this point, just like this. Okay, so we continue to place that successfully. Sorry, this is wrong. Okay, we make changes to that. Okay, this one and this one. Yeah, so new frame is crossing each other, say no, place that successfully. We make changes to this other one later. Need that point, we need also this point, just like that. This point, we also need this point. Okay, here and here. All right, so we continue. this point, and here, this point, and here. All right. All right, so we have this just like this. Okay, for this one, we just select that, and then we have to delete that off. Okay, select any of this again, right click, and then use its property to place this next one, just like this. Okay, click on the close options. So we have done this successfully, just like this. After which we have a kind of a coverage, a shade here. We have a shade here, so we'll be working on the shade. Is at a story 2, so double click on the story 2 right there. Okay, so we navigate to the plan view of story 2. Okay, just like this. Before we proceed, we'll save the project so that we won't encounter an error. After we get the project saved successfully, we will have to be using this property of the beam. So get the beam selected, right click, and then click on its property. Pick this point, we'll be having a cantilever beam. Okay, click on the no options. We are connecting this to this point, just like this. This is a cantilever beam. All right, deselect that, and then we have another cantilever beam right here. Okay, we also have another cantilever beam right here. All right, no options, no options. Place that successfully. Deselect this. We may not have need for this because we are going to be connecting this to this. Okay, so for us to proceed, we have to first of all, in this case, we are not going to inch both sides, but if you see what we're having here, we are inching both sides. So we are only inching only one side. All right, so what we need to do is you click on close. We have to delete this particular middle one. Okay, we don't have need for that for now. For the inching, get this selected, right click, and then come to inching. You found inching here. You can see update beam end conditions here. So we are only concerned with this side. Okay, that is being anchorage applied to the selected beam. Only this side. Okay, this side is like a free side. All right, it's a cantilever, so it's free. All right, so we come to this other side, right click, and then you come to the inch as well. Okay, we are inching only to the right hand side, so click on that and then apply to the selected beams successfully. So we are having a cantilever beam just like this. Okay, so we navigate to the 3D just like this. All right, so here is the model, and this is what we just model newly. Okay, we are going to be connecting a kind of a curved beam like this that will connect this point and this point successfully. Okay, so for us to do that, we will not necessarily make use of this property, but we will just click on these provisions, and then we'll be using the same sections of the beams, and then we click in this sections management, and then we navigate to the IPs. Okay, IP is this one. Okay, we'll be using this section 160. Click on this, select options, and then we click on the OK options. All right, so we are going to be inching both sides. So I have these provisions check very well. Okay, so I click on this curve instructions method. I will also use 90 degree. Yeah, all right, then I will consider it to be 1200 millimeters, the radius of the curve. So I pick this point first, come to all the way, pick this other point to place the curve just like this. All right, so this curve is not that or I say the radius is not too deep. Right, so since the radius is not too deep, what I'm going to do, I have to increase this. I have to increase that from 1.2 to 1500, just like this. Click on the update to have it increased just like this. If you want to increase it more than that, you can make it 2000 millimeters radius. Okay, just like this. Click on the update to have it. I think this is nice now. Okay, so we are going to be supporting this with pin support. Pin support has to do with it resists both vertical and horizontal forces, okay, and not movement. All right, pin support only resists vertical and horizontal forces and not movement. So we have to apply that to these beams at the end of these beams right here. So we just have to get this beam selected, right click, and then we just select the beam, right click, and then click on its property. So in the property dialog right here, what we just need to do, we come to the 3D tab and then come to the support at we are going to support it at I end. Okay, you can see options here, I and J end. Okay, so which end you want to apply the support. So we want to apply it to the I end, so you select this and then select pin support and then click on update. So if you click on update, you can see a pin support here. All right, see a pin support here. You click on the close options. All right, come over to this other side, select this, also the property of it, and then we go to 3D tab right there, I end as well. Click on the pin support, click on updates to have this. So we have actually supported this, okay, with a pin support which resists the vertical and horizontal forces and not movement. It is only the pin, it's only the fixed support, the support at the foundations, okay, that resists both vertical forces, horizontal forces, and as well as movement. All right, so click on the update and then close options. So we are to be having a support pole that will be connecting this curve beam and then these provisions and these stanchions. Okay, so what we need to do is we come over to the frame again, and then in the frame provisions, right, we will actually have to inch both sides of the pole. So we come to the section manager right there, and then we go to turbo D right there, and then we navigate to the sections we've used. Okay, 101.6 by 5 millimeter thickness of the steel hollow sections, circular hollow sections. Select that and OK options. So we place that point, pick that point, and then you can take it to this point and then place it there. We are having a curve, another curve beam, because we have not changed the property. So we have to change the property to straight over here. Okay, straight instructions method, and then click on the update to have it straight just like this. So this is just what we expected. Another thing that we'll be doing, we have to be using this analytical offset to offset this downward. So we are offsetting it in the Z directions. Okay, so let's go in the Z directions, like let's go 50 first and see the extent. Okay, so we have to prefix it with minus just like this update. You can see it goes down a little bit, so let's make it 100. Okay, not 100 will be fine. All right, so we have it to be 100 just like this update. So this is good. All right, that is in the J direction. So in the I end, okay, in the I end we also have that to be 100 just like this. Click on the update. Okay, this is too much, so let's make that to be 50. All right, update. Okay, 50 is not too good, let's make it 20. All right, update. Okay, this is fine now. All right, so after which the same thing will be applicable to the next one. We have another one here to connect this point. We have also another one here to also connect we have to connect this point. Let's connect it there. So we have something of this kind, so you can see it's just like this. Okay, all right, at this point now we have to save the project. So at each time you work to some extent, you make sure you save the project to avoid unnecessary errors. Okay, so the project is being saved now. Now we are done with the modeling, so we are going to be adding floors to this structure. So we navigate to the story 1. Okay, we'll be adding floors from story 1. Double click right there to move the grid lines to story 1 just like this, and then I will be enabling the plan view of the story 1. So here is the plan view of the story 1, and so for us to add floor successfully, we will click on the slab right there. But in Protastructure 2022, if you do not enable loading combinations, there is no way you can enable this slab tab. Okay, so we go straight away to loading, and then we will click on these load cases and combinations. So in the load cases and combinations dialog, we click on the loading generator. All right, in this loading generator dialog, we may not necessarily use define pattern load automatically. Okay, we will have this on check, or you can as well leave it depending on how you intended to define a load. Okay, so if you want to actually define a horizontal load, you see these ones are vertical loading combinations, and then the factors are there. All right, you go to the horizontal load combinations tab. Okay, in the horizontal load combinations, you can be able to apply a wing load to these provisions. Okay, to have it checked. Okay, any load you intended applying to the structure, you have to check it right here. You can see seismic load here. All right, you have to check it to add that, but I already want to add that in this designs. Okay, you can see soil pressure here. All right, so all of that, but we have to consider wind load and as well as the vertical loads. Okay, just like this. After which, click on the OK option. If you need the temperature loadings, you can activate this so that you can also make provisions for those loadings successfully. Click on the OK options just right away, and then you have the loads generated just like this. You can see. After which, click on the OK options again to close this dialog. Now you can navigate to the modeling tab and then activate the slab. Alright, so you click on the slab right there. So give the program some seconds. Here is the slab dialog. Okay, so in this dialog provisions, we'll be having a solid slab thickness of 150 millimeters. Okay, 150 millimeters, just like this. The slab we are going to be using at this level is going to be mass concrete slab, and it's not a reinforced concrete slab. Okay, so we'll be having cover. You may not necessarily have a cover, but For you to be completed in the provisions of slab parameters, you have to add a cover, but we may not necessarily need this. Okay, so you go to the loading tab. So in the loading tab right here, we have an additional load up to kilonewton per square meters. Okay, for the imposed load, you can actually use an imposed load of machine load, anything that has to do with machines right there. You can use parking vehicles right there. You can see parking cars for light vans. You can use this for that purpose. Okay, because a machine we place on actually on the concrete, so it also depends on the concrete grade that we selected. We selected very strong concrete grade in the the first lesson, which is the part 1 of this lesson. So check the lesson so that I can get to understand that successfully. If you check very well, the roof load is not enabled. Okay, the snow load is not also enabled. The rain load is not also enabled because we did not enable it in the loading combination properties. That is why. So after which, we now start to insert our slab. We come to the general tab again. We have to insert the slab using the we use this thing to insert the slab. We will be considering the instruction options, pick axis instruction options. Okay, so here is the pick axis instruction options because we want to be inserting the slab, panel by panel. All right, so we use the pick axis to insert it so that we design it using a finite element analysis method. All right, so I selected pick axis. I want to pick this axis. All right, if you pick any axis you pick, it's coming up here. Okay, so I pick this one first, F, and then I pick 2. All right, I will pick D right there. All right, I will pick 5 right there, and then I will go back and pick F right there to have the slabs placed just like this. You can see. All right, the same thing. I will have to cancel this one to be able to pick a new axis. Okay, so I'll pick D as first. I'll pick 2. I'll pick A. Pick axis 5. Pick D again to have the slab inserted just like this. Okay, now this time around we are going to be inserting another slabs. Okay, so that we can be able to have a very nice work way around the structure. Okay, so for us to do that, we will click in these provisions. You right click right there. We are going to be using a slab option 12, this one. So click on that, come to this provisions. It's going to be a kind of cantilever slab right there. So for the length of the cantilever, we will be considering 1500, just like this. Okay, and then the cantilever will be carrying some loads. Okay, human loads that walk around. Okay, and other machines will be consider 6 kilonewton. Right, so we pick this point all the way to this point. We move our hand outward, clicked to have it there. Same thing here like this. Okay, and then we have it just like this. Okay, so click on the close options. All right, at this time you have to just go to 3D and then see what you've done so far at 3D, so you have something of this kind at 3D. So this structure now is set for analysis and design, but we need to set the project parameters like the soil bearing capacities and the name of the project and the rest of that. Okay, then we'll carry out analysis and design of the structure successfully, which we are going to be doing that in the next lesson part 3. We will be doing that. We are going to be adding loads to the roof Purlins as well as the Curvet beams. All right, so let us get started. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As we proceed into this lesson, we will also design the foundation of the structure after analysis and design of the structural steel members successfully. So for the loading of the roof Purlins, we have already placed a clouding right there. So we have to navigate to the story 4 right there, okay, which is the top of the roof. After which you can just let the clouding just like this. Right click on the clouding and then you come down to edit loads, these provisions. So once you click on these provisions, give the program some time to enable the edit load dialog successfully. So here we have the edit load dialog. Okay, so for us to apply the load on this successfully, we will have to get the all of this selected, all of the clouding. We get all of that selected successfully just like this, and then we click on this full uniform area load. Once you click on that, we will have to identify the load we are going to be applying. This is the dead load, which is the G. And then if you click in this drop down, we also have the Q, which is live load, okay, and as well the wind load, okay. But in this lesson, I will show us how we can just apply the two loads, the G and the Q successfully. So you have to select all of this successfully again, just like this. Once you get them selected, you can come to these provisions and key in the load. Let's say our dead load is going to be 1 kilonewton per square meter, so you click on update to update it right there. All right, so after which you select all to make sure all the load is being applied, okay, just like this. After which you have to come over to this provision, the Q load, activate that. You can as well increase this for the Q load, okay, make it 2 kilonewton, and then highlight all of that, click on the update. So once you click on the update, you can see the Q load is being applied successfully. All right, so this is how you apply your loads to the Purlins, the roof load successfully. If you want to also apply the wind load, you can just have to select the wind load in the X direction or in the Y direction and apply it as well. Okay, but these are the load we are going to be working with for the sake of this lesson. Okay, click on the OK options. So now the load is being applied successfully on the Purlins. If, for instance, you want to apply loads on this curve beam, okay, so you just have to select it, right click, and then you click on the edit load. So in the edit load, you will have this. So yeah, it's going to be full uniform loads you are going to be applying on this. Okay, so you just have to select this first. So once you get that selected, over here you have to key in the load value, the load magnitude, okay, and then we key it, make it 2 kilonewton per square meter. So once you bring your hand over it like this, you see it's being selected. You just click it once. So here is the load. You can see 2 right there, right, for the G load. Okay, for you want to add the Q load, maybe you want it to be 3 kilonewton, you can just key in 3 right there and then select this, just like this. So with this, we have successfully placed and added the necessary 2 loads successfully on this curve beam. Click on the update options and then close options. So if we want to also add the same load to the rest of these curve beams, you can also copy a load from this. So you get this selected, right click, and then in the drop down menu, you navigate to this copy loads or Control C. Once you select that, click on the OK options to get all the load properties copied. So you want to paste it on this, you can select the first one or the Control key, so you can select multiple of that curve beam. All right, just like this. Then you right click and then you have to paste the load. Now click on paste. Okay, so once you paste it, all the load is being pasted on this successfully. How do you know? Select it and then check it, the property, the edit load property. Now you will see the load on it. So you can see the load now being pasted successfully, just like this. Click on the OK option. So at this time, we are going to be carrying out the analysis. So we'll go to the analysis tab right there. In the analysis, click on the building analysis. In the building analysis dialog, you can decide to set the materials, but I want to go by default of these materials for the sake of this lesson. Okay, if you click on this edit material, you can have a provisions where you'll be able to edit your materials, all of this effectively. Okay, but I'll go by this default. So straight away we'll go to the analysis tab. So you just have to select the building analysis right there, and then in these provisions we have the first concrete column. You have to check that, and the team members. The program will have to design all of this for us. So we click on the building analysis to start the analysis. Alright, so the analysis is completed. The relative draft is also actually past the limit, so you just have to click on the OK options, and then after which you close this right there. Okay, so the steam members has been designed successfully. If I should navigate to the display options, go to view option, then the analytical model, I click right there. All right, so here is the analytical model. So you can also check your loadings here and the applications as well as the movement right there. Once they are being checked like this, you can see the behavior of it on the structure, just like this. Okay, you can now remove the label if you want to remove that. All right, and that will also take effect successfully. Okay. Alright, so everything is okay. We have to check the members. Go back to the physical model. I will check the members. I click on one of these member, right click, and then I will click on the steel members design options, and it will display whether the member has actually passed design or failed. We found it here. Okay, so you can see that particular steel sections, the utilization ratio is actually failing right there. The utilization ratio is actually failing right there, while the shear check has passed. In these situations, what you need to do is you can actually make changes to this section by coming to change sections. You click right there. So once you click on the change section options right there, you will be taken to the column sections dialog, just like this. In this dialog, you can be able to actually select more larger sections. Right, let's use 200 and then select it right there. Click on the OK options. So it will have to boot. It's not still pass. Okay, so you have to check design again. It's not still pass. Go back right, and then IP sections this time around. Let's take 240 sections, select and OK options. Right, so you can see 240 has passed design successfully. You can see the U ratio is now 0.8, which is less than 1. You can see. Click on the OK options. So likewise, every other members, you have to just check them one by one, all right, to ensure they have passed design. All the steel sections have passed design successfully. This one has passed design. Okay, I believe. Let us check this other one, because this section is also a smaller section. So let's check it to ensure it passes design successfully. You click on the steel member design right there. Okay, so in this dialog, you notice it also failed. Okay, so we'll come to change sections, and then they come to IPE sections. This time around, let's use 240 and select it right there. Click on the OK options, and then it's going to boot up. So you can see now it now passes the design successfully. Okay, so after which you can check the trusses as well. Select one of the truss, right click on it, and then you click on the steel member design options right there. Then you see all the trusses just like this. It is only the bottom cord that is having a kind of a slenderness failure right there, which can be fabricated and corrected at site during constructions. All right, so click on the OK options right there. Everything is good, so we can now have to proceed to design the foundations of this structure. So for us to design the foundation, we have to move the grid lines to the zero level like this. Okay, at this level now, we can have to select all the reinforced concrete columns. Okay, for us to do that, we can just activate the front elections. Okay, the front view of this, or you just have to go to the plant view of the structure. The plan view of this structure, just like this. All right, so at this plan view now, you get all the columns selected just like this. Can do a sheet over it just like this. Once they are all selected, I right click, and then in the menu you can see insert part footings right there. Click in that provisions to insert the part footings. Then you just leave it sometimes. It's going to boot up and come up with a part footing designs dialog just like this. In this design dialog, you give it a time, just a few seconds. It's going to design the footings automatically. The design is actually in progress at this point now. Click on the design or this one. Click on this design or. So once I click on the design or, it's going to carry out the designs of the footing. Or you can also cancel it from here. Then you can also design it individually. All right, design individually by selecting it like this. Right click and then select the insert part footings. Alright, so in the pass footing dialog, you can see the footing depth is this. Okay, if you check in the 3D provisions, you can be able to see that it is a double reinforced top and bottom. You can see. Alright, so if this is okay, you can just click on the okay options right there. But if this is not okay, you can also go to the rebar sections and then to remove the top rebars. One of the top rebars should not be selected. Okay, so that you can have a single reinforced footing just like this, and it still passes design. All right, meaning if you have both top and bottom, the top bars may be over designs. All right, so click on the OK option to insert this successfully. So with that same process, you have to insert your footing for all of these columns. Okay, so let us use select all method. Okay, so we click and do a sheet over all the columns, just like this. Hold the control key to be able to select this other one that has not been selected, just like this. After which you right click and then click on the insert part footing options. So in these provisions now, you have to click on this redesign all, this one. Once you click on the redesign all, you click on the design all. Give the program some seconds to design all the footings successfully. Right now all the footings has been designed successfully. Click on the OK options to have them placed just like this. You can see. Alright, you can navigate to 3D now to actually view what you've done so far. So you have something of this kind, just like this. Okay. Alright, so after designing all of this, now you can now take this structure to the ProtaSteel to be able to design the stick connections. Alright, so we'll be doing that right away. We'll export this to ProtaSteel. So you just have to navigate to drawing and report tab and then click on the ProtaSteel just once. Give it some seconds to load ProtaSteel just like this. So here is ProtaSteel loaded successfully. Okay, so this is our project in ProtaSteel. So what we will be doing now is the connections we will be designing. Okay, but we are going to be carrying out the connection design here in the next lesson, because it's going to be a complete lesson on the connection design. All right, so here we are. The structure, okay, is loaded successfully. All right, so most of the connection we are going to be designing right away is we are going to make use of the Intellect Connect. Okay, the Intellect Connect is a powerful tool that automatically design connections, almost all the connections successfully. So how to apply the Intellect Connect? At first we'll be designing the Purlins, okay, the Purlins connections. So you just have to get the all of the structure selected just like this. So once the structure is selected like this, mind you, will be manually designed base plates in this lesson as well. So make sure you stay throughout the lesson so that you actually have a good understanding on how to design connections in ProtaSteel, because the interface of this ProtaSteel 2022 is quite different from the interface of the ProtaSteel 2019 and as well 2020. All right, so after you must have gotten the old structure selected like this, you just have to right click and then in the drop down menu come all the way to Intellect Connect this, and then I'll go straight the way to create Purlins connections. Once I click that once, I leave the system to open a Intellect Connect Purlins wizard or a dialog just like this. So I'll be using auto connections. So using this auto options, this option here, it will enable the program to select any of these connections type, okay, for our Purlins connection successfully. So I click on next and then I'll run it. Give it just some seconds. It's going to run and then connect all the Purlins successfully. Alright, so if you check in the report dialog here, you can see almost all the Purlins has been connected. You see everything showing done. Alright, so you just have to click on the close to close this, then you go back to check if it is actually connected. So you can see, so this is the type of connections that was actually used. Okay, so if you wouldn't want this type of connections, you can select any connections that you actually wanted, but for the sake of this lesson we are going by this. So the next connection we are going to be designing is going to be the truss connection. This truss braces and all of these connections we'll be using Intellect Connect to also design that connections. So select the whole project again like this, after which right click and then come to the Intellect Connect. So we are going by truss connection, create truss connections. Okay, this one, click on it once, and then the gusset plates thickness we'll be considering is 10 millimeter gusset plate thickness. So click on the run. So this Intellect connection actually fast tracked connection design in ProtaSteel 2022. All right, and then it saves us the time of designing it one by one, which it will actually kill time and then delay our work delivery. But with the Intellect Connect, it will run it automatically for us and use the right sections and the gusset plate for the connection design successfully. Alright, so if you have in mind to get the software, you can inbox me and then we'll look for a way to get it done. Alright. So you can see the connection design is actually done. So I have to close this for the trusses connection. You can see this is how the trusses is being, designed and connected just like this. You can see the gusset plate. The thickness was 10 millimeter. All right, so you can see it there welded to this bottom cord just like this, and it's being connected. All of the trusses automatically connected successfully. Okay, so if you want to also have need to have a personal training on Protastructure in the steel aspect of it, you can also inbox me, as we have an ongoing mentorship class that is going on, which I think you can join and you benefit from it. All right, so we make progress this time around. It is column to beam connections we will be carrying out. So you get to select all of this, right click, and then you come all the way to Intellect Connect, and then we are going to create a connections that is going to be between the columns, all right, and the beam. This is a floor beam, and this is create column slash beam connections. So click on this one, and then I would like to use, I may not necessarily like to use this one, I would like to use this. Okay, I like that. I click on next. All right, I can also use this one and then use this. I prefer this too. All right, I click on next again. Okay, I wouldn't have a beam to wall connection, so I can just select this because there's no wall actually. Okay, so I'll click on next again. All right, okay, I can go by this auto for any of these Purlins that is connected to the any of these braces that is connected to the columns. All right, so I can't actually use this. You can actually give an offset of this, but if you really want to give the offset between this point, as in the gusset plate, and the top of the beam, you can leave it at default. The program will carry out that automatically. So click on the run options. Also give the program just some seconds to be able to run and connect all the beams as well as the braces, all right, successfully. So all the connections is done, but this particular one could not be connected. You can see it here. So since it cannot be connected, that means it can be connected manually. Okay, that is not an issue. Click on the closed options. Then let's zoom closely to check that out. So this is the beam to column connections, and then the braces. You can see the braces connected automatically, just like this. You can see. All right. If you check that in these other provisions, you will notice that the braces is connected as well, and then the beam to column connections is also carried out successfully. Even this cantilever beam, see, is being connected successfully. All right, so having gone this extent, the next thing I will be showing us, or we will be doing, is the base plate connections. The base plate connections, there is base plate connections in these provisions. All right, so these are the ones that the program have actually, okay, which you can also use, but the one I want us to use is the user defined base plate connections. Okay, user defined base plate connections. Okay, so for us to use that effectively, we are going to be considering one of these base plates. Okay, let's say we will look at this one. Let's just look at this one. Okay, so I'll have to delete or hide this reinforced concrete slab. This one, I will right click and then I click on hide selected, so I can have this just like this. Okay, so with this now, I want to first of all insert the plate here. Okay, so here is plate. You just have to click on it once, pick this first point of the plate, pick the second point, pick the third point, and then you should be able to pick the third point, and you see the plates being placed like this. Okay, so here is the plate. So this plate now, we need to be creating an hole on it, hole on this plate. But at first we want to be pushing it down by holding the control key and then pressed W, so that it will actually lies right under this column. So you can see some part of the reinforced concrete columns is actually inside the plate, so we are going to be cutting it off. So in this lesson, one of the things you also learn is how to cut off some part of this concrete so that we can free the plate itself from clashing with the reinforced concrete successfully. So how do we do that? We are going to be using the cutting tools. If you come to this edit provisions, you see various cutting tools here, but the one we'll be looking at is the polygon cut. So this polygon cut is what we are going to be considering. So click on the polygon cut, so you can see the depth of out is 1000. We change it to 500 just like this. So we click on select part and dent and point. So we click on that. The part we are going to consider is the reinforced concrete column, so you select that. So for the area to be cut, pick this first point. You just follow the way I'm doing. Okay, this point, this one, and this one. Give it has cut that part off. All right, so with this now, if you carry out clash check, you will notice that there will be nothing like a clash between the reinforced concrete column and the plate, because we have cut the part that is clashing out. All right, so this is an auxiliary file or an auxiliary micros. This cut symbols, so you can also remove it. You want to remove it, you come to these provisions, where you have this one. Click on it to remove that. So this is the plate itself. Okay, this time around we want to be adding holes on this, and then followed by the anchor bolts, so that we can actually bolt this successfully. So for us to do that, we go to the steel sections. In these steel sections, you see bolt here, this one. Click on it once. Once you click on it, you select the plate that you want to actually place the bolt on, after which you right click and then you pick the first point right there, come over here and put the second point. Okay, so it will show you this. Okay, so this is the board. We are now to edit this board now, okay, and convert it to hole. So how do we do that? Double click on the board to create and have a dialog just like this. So the board diameter is 20. All right, so if you come to settings 2, if you notice your type is bold, all right, and then the board assembly is 8.1. all right, so all of this you can change it. Okay, come to setting 2. In the setting 2, you have the board name, and then you have the board tolerance. So the tolerance I want it to be 3. So this 3 now I've keyed in setting 2. If I come back to setting 1, see the board diameter is what, 20, and then the tolerance here is 3. Simply means there will be a kind of a small space. Okay, that small space, okay, for the board is called the tolerance, which is this 3. All right, I'll go to setting 3 right there. Okay, I don't have anything much to change here. I'll go straight away to positions. In this position now, I will now have to decide where the bolts are going to be actually placed. Okay, this is in the X direction is front, and then in the Y direction is right. Okay, so let's check that out. This can be edited several times to actually get what you wanted. So, but you must make sure the bolt is selected before you make any changes. So for now, I will key in 50 right here. You give it a space, and then you key in, let's say 200. All right, come over this side in the Y directions, key in 50 as well. All right, give it a space and then key in 200. Okay, now click on the applied and see the changes here. So you see the changes here, it's just like this. Okay, so the spacing is not enough. All right, the spacing is not enough. If you select this and then you rotate it this way, you see you're having it there. So you need to make more adjustment to this. So you have to select this again for the adjustment to be made. Okay, so for the 200 in the X directions, mind you, you have to know the difference between the X directions and the Y direction. Here is the X direction. So 200 in the X directions, which shows this blue, this green icon there. So we'll make it 350 in that directions. Click on the applied. All right, okay. You can see this one going this way, so you have to also shift it again, make it 500. Make sure you have a space here. Click so I think this is fine now. So we are now going to work in the Y directions now. So in the Y direction, we may just change this to let's say change it to 350. All right, give it a space right there, applied. So it's been moved successfully, so you can see it here. All right, so we have placed a bolt just like this. Okay, so if maybe you want to have more of the bolt in this directions of the Y, okay, you can actually divide this by 2. Let's say you can still have 150 or 160 right there. You give a space, you have another 160 right there. Okay, if you click on apply now, you see you're having 3 bolts right there. If you check this side, it's the same thing, 3. Okay, so I believe this is fully understood. Okay, this is fully understood. So the clear distance from the edge of the plates to the board now is this 50 you're seeing, okay, in this provision. So this is actually a bolt, all right, but we wouldn't want a bolt, we need a hole. Okay, so what you need to go to the setting 1, it is setting 1, select on all. Okay, this is all. So once you select on this all, click on the apply. So once you click on the apply, see it has turned to all, and the total diameter of this hole is 23. Okay, while the bolt size is 20. The 3 is the tolerance, which is what you have in this provision. So we have done with this successfully. So this is what you will do to almost all the base plates successfully. Okay, don't forget to like this lesson, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Okay, and if you need a private lesson on this, I'll take you on a full private lesson on this, on how to use ProtaSteel effectively. All right, so I will click on the OK options. All right, so we are done with this. So what we need to do, we can copy this now to other ones that is in the same directions with this, or in the same orientations with this. So to copy that, the point there is if you copy, you must cut, okay, so that it will not clash with the reinforced concrete columns. All right, but at first let us let us bring in the actually the anchor bolts. Okay, the anchor bolts right there we will be considering. If you come down to where we have now these provisions, come to miscellaneous. Okay, miscellaneous steel detailing, you see this one is anchor bolt. Okay, and this is a hook type. Okay, if you right click on it, it will show you the anchor bolt properties just like this. Okay, so in this anchor bolt properties, the type is simple. Okay, and then you have the C type. All right, so the C type is this one you see on the image, the micros is the C type. So you can select the simple type and click on the get. Click on get simply means you have saved it to the system, you apply it, and then you okay. So you can also give it a name. All right, any name you want to give it, you can give it in these provisions. All right, so after which click on get, apply, and okay. So after which just left click on it. Once you left click on it, what you need to do, you just have to right click first and then select on the plate. It will locate it the points automatically, and it's being fixed just the way you're seeing right now. Okay, so this has been fixed successfully. All right, so this is how you manually, model and then create your base plate successfully. Okay, so if you check it very well, everything is very nice and okay. All right, so another thing I would like us to look at is the the welding. Okay, because this stanchion have to be welded to the base plate. Okay, so for us to commence that welding, you have to come to this provision where you have welding. In this, you will be using this weld, this one. So once you used it, you select the point to be welded. All right, and then you select the plate to get it weld. So this is a weld symbol, so you don't need to do it round. It's an easiest way to carry out that. Select this weld, the one you've placed already, double click on that. You will have this weld dialog. In the weld dialog, you will just have to navigate to this weld type. Click in these provisions, you have all round. Once you select this all round and then click on apply, you see the changes here. It's going to weld all round the perimeter of these stanchions successfully. Click on the apply right there so you can see, and okay. So with this we have done now, you will not have anything like clashing. Okay, the only thing we have to do now is to apply this connections successfully, the brace connections at this point, which that is not an issue. Okay, for the gate connections, you can also do that using the internet connect by selecting all the project just like this. After the project is being selected like this, all right, you have to do that again. Get the project selected. sorry, we have to save the project first. So after the project is selected, right click and then go to Internet Connect, and then you are to use get, okay, this one, click on that, and then the ones to be used, you can use auto, so the program will select automatically any of that. Next, and run. Give the program some second to carry out the get connections successfully. So the get connection is done. Click on the closed options. So if you now zoom closely to see it, you can see the get connections is being done just like this. All right, the get connection is done just like this. So for these brace connections to the column and the base plate, what you just need to do is you come to the micros gallery right there, and then you'll be able to select a brace. Okay, you will see a brace connection, this one. Select this arrow to expand it. Okay, so we'll be using this corner weight gusset, this one, corner weight gusset. So select it once. Once you select it once, you select the primary member, which is these columns, and then you select this the brace itself, then select the what do you call that, the plate itself, to get it inserted just like this. Okay, so you can see everything is being connected just like this, you can see. All right, so I believe strongly that you have gone a long way in the explanations of the connection design successfully. So we bring the lesson to a stop here. Don't forget to give the lesson a thumbs up, please. Subscribe if you are still not subscribed to Soft Raising channel, as I will see you in the next lesson. Have a nice day. Thank you for staying through the lesson. Bye for now.